Yeah, today's Wednesday. On Sunday, I called the National Suicide Hotline, and I tried to explain to them my frustrations, my anxiety, my lack. I just didn't feel loved enough by this society. I just feel sometimes that I'm an invisible kind of person uh, in an invisible homeless population in a colonial urban plantation in Los Angeles. What if, what if we stopped buying expensive products, we stopped going to the hairdresser, we stopped going to the nail salon, we stopped going for haircuts, and we took that money and invested it in humans instead of the selfish need of the people who can afford it. That, I think, takes a tremendous step of transcending the selfishness. Me. The videos I've seen, both on YouTube and other sites, Netflix, whatever, they speak of this essential me, and the lack of the we. The disabled and the minorities are part of this nation, and especially the group that I'm in, the homeless, they have a great deal to offer if given the opportunities. But I think part of having opportunities is having the money to do it. And I'm not saying that everyone who's on Skid Row is an entrepreneur. I'm just saying that there's many people here who have potential to have our nation grow. Here we have 90,000. Nationwide, we have 54 million. What are some of the qualities of the disabled? Do they have higher addiction rates? Yes. Minorities, do they have higher addiction rates? Yes. About mental illness, do we understand what mental illness is and how destructive it is? We should end poverty, but in order to do that, we have to put a handle on mental illness and drug addiction and domestic violence and the kind of things that we do to ourselves, like self 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 degradation, self sabotage, and the lack of hopelessness. There's a theory in psychology that says that we have learned we have learned hopelessness from our the people who raised us, the people who were a generation behind us, and many generations behind us, even more in concept and ideas. We grow up with the ideas of the past, but there is no real futurists out there to tell us that there's something better. And it doesn't have to be pie in the sky. It can be, me helping you, you helping me. I think we understand our needs. We just don't know how to manage them. How does one manage anything? I think we have to understand what the problems are. And to me, poverty is the key issue, which leads us to all the other issues. I'm 72 years old. I've been through a few things in my life, but what pains me the most is the fact that I've seen so many people die around me, which were totally unnecessary. And they just didn't die of their own ignorance, but it was also the ignorance that we really never talk about. It's the ignorance of our society and where it's going to lead us. Look at it. We elect presidents, they espouse ideas, they become romanticized. No. By the time they get into office, politicians have to compromise, and more compromise, and more compromise. And then they have to fight with all the people who are already entrenched, who are all millionaires. I run for office, I'm already a millionaire. You have to be rich to run for office. How many poor people have run for office? Not many. And how many have reached a place in our culture of political power to actually change things? To change things, you have to understand all the structures for thousands of years that have been around us, building around us, and controlling us and limiting us. It isn't just about control, it's about the limitations. They, they don't give the money to the poor, so the poor remain poor. Yes, but you should, lift yourself up by the bootstraps, the American idea. But other countries have the same idea. There's successful people in all countries. There's religions in all countries. Politics control us, religion controls us, poverty controls us. How could we be better persons, better human beings? I don't know. I don't have children, I'm not married, and I made a decision a long time ago not to have children because I had so many mental health issues, and primarily depression, undiagnosed until I was 50. I shared my personal information, hopefully to help some of the people out there. The answer isn't money, period. It's people. It's getting the attention of the people who have the money and have them open up their hearts and their wallets. Mr. Microsoft, $16 billion foundation, and it's growing every moment. At the same time, we have 100 people that died on Skid Row, which was totally unnecessary. One less story. There's more. One day I got out of my car when I had my car, And I locked the door, and I see this blanket on the sidewalk, and it was evening. The person was trying to sleep. He had a blanket on top of him. Didn't notice much. The next day, I come back, same place, same parking space. My car wasn't stolen yet, and I see this person, you know, laying there, and one of his legs is sticking out, the other isn't. He doesn't have a second leg; he only has one. And the police are hushing and shushing people away, saying, "Oh, he died last night." He wasn't dead when I left him. What could I have done? What agency could I have called? Most agencies work 9 to 5, 8 to 5. People kill themselves on the weekends. Who do you call? Suicide agency? And what are they going to do? Columbine had over 2,000 students. They had a massacre by two of their students. And yet, very few people know that Columbine had one, that's one counselor. One counselor for 2,000 children. And you wonder why children go into schools and kill them, other children, and why people go into their offices, former some offices, sometimes they were laid off from, and kill other people. We do not have the means, the correct means, of dealing with national anxiety, suicide rates, mental health rates, and substance abuse. And we will never have unless we work together. We collaborate, and hopefully one day we'll have some answers that we can pass forward. Thank you. Take care.